I gave my family $72,000. They gave me a mug that said, "Just pay and smile." So I cut them off. I sent my family over 72,000 bucks in the last 5 years. And how did they repay me? With smirks. Mockery. No thank yous, just jokes at my expense. So I stayed quiet and started planning their financial funeral. It all came to a head on Easter. I was sitting at the table when Ashley handed me a coffee mug. I looked down and read the words printed on it. Stop asking why. Just pay and smile. Everyone around the table chuckled. My mom raised her wine glass like she was on a talk show and said, "Come on, it's funny." The sunlight hit her just right, made her look like some proud hostess. Ashley clinked her glass and said, "To our sponsor." And then Mom added with a grin, "You're not our son, you're our sponsor." They all laughed. I didn't. Just a few days before, I had wired them $18,000. Covered Mom's second root canal, Ashley's fender bender that somehow needed a full bumper replacement, and their overdue mortgage. I cut my business trip short to help. Didn't even get a chance to unpack. And now this. I looked at Ashley, gripping that stupid mug. "Where'd you even get this?" She smiled. "I had it made. Thought it suited you. You're always stressing about why you're the one who helps everyone. So, we thought we'd just skip the why part." I glanced at Mom. Then Dad. Mom just said, "Don't be so sensitive. You've always been generous." Dad didn't even look up from his phone. "It's a joke. Relax." Right. A joke. Just like last Christmas when they joked I should be allowed to deduct their bills from my taxes. Or when I got promoted and they joked about finally upgrading their sponsor. Ashley sat there in that pastel Easter dress I bought her. She said she couldn't afford one. Dylan, her fiancé, was stuffing his face like he hadn't eaten in a week. Probably hadn't, since I was the one paying for everything. Mom smiled at me like she hadn't just guilt-tripped me into paying off her credit cards. Dad, when he was around, only showed up if someone needed money or a signature. Mom raised her glass again. "Isn't this nice? A real family holiday." No, it wasn't real. It was a damn production. And the whole show? Sponsored by me. I gave them the smile they wanted. But right then, something snapped inside me. Quiet, but permanent. I started wondering if it had always been like this. Maybe I'd been too busy trying to help, too caught up trying to be useful to notice the rot growing underneath. I was raised to think love came through sacrifice. That if I gave enough, solved enough, showed up enough, they'd love me the way they loved Ashley. But that was never going to happen. Ashley was the miracle child. The golden one. Their pride. I was just a backup plan. A walking checkbook. And it didn't happen overnight. It started small. I paid Ashley's rent after her first startup failed. Covered Mom's dental work twice. I kept the lights on when Dad's buddy defaulted on a loan. Always me. Every time. They acted like I owed them. Like I had something to make up for. Mom would say, "We gave up a lot to raise you," if I hesitated to send money. Dad once snapped, "We didn't raise a successful kid so you could hoard it all." Ashley would say, "It's not like we're strangers. We're family. You know I'd help you if it were the other way around." But it never was. And it never would be. Because I made sure I was never the one in debt. Never the one in trouble. I sacrificed everything just so I wouldn't need anything. Then, about 6 months ago, the first big crack showed up. Ashley called me bawling about Dylan's business falling apart. "If we can't buy the new equipment, he'll lose everything," she cried. Please. I'd never ask if we weren't desperate. So I wired her $4,700 that night. A week later, I saw her on Instagram. Fancy winery. Laughing with a glass of red. Dylan had a Rolex on. The caption? Weekend vibes. Much needed. I didn't say anything. Told myself maybe it was old. Maybe they needed a break. But the pictures kept coming: new shoes, brunches, the latest iPhone. And then, Easter. That damn mug. After dinner, I went home and started digging. I combed through 5 years of transactions. $72,850. Not loans. Not investments. Just straight up gifts, bailouts, bills, and emergencies. My hands shook. The next morning, I froze the 3 joint credit cards they were using. Changed every password I had. Opened a brand new savings account and moved everything over. That night, I got a text from Mom. "Hey honey, can you send $600? I forgot to pay the HOA. They're threatening to fine me. Just till Monday." I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, Ashley texted. "Mom says you're mad. Is this about the mug? Don't be weird. It was a joke. Nothing's changed." Then at midnight, Mom again. We didn't mean anything by it. You know we appreciate you. Don't make this a thing. Appreciate me? Like the time I drove 6 hours in a snowstorm to pick up Dad from the ER because Ashley had to go to the spa? They didn't even invite me to the Maui family vacation. Said, you wouldn't want to spend money on something like that, right? No. It wasn't appreciation. It was addiction. They were addicted to the version of me who never said no. But I was done. The next morning, Ashley showed up at my apartment like she owned the place. You're really ignoring us now, she said. I turned my back, standing at the kitchen counter. You mean like you ignored my last raise? My last birthday? Every time I said I was overwhelmed? She laughed. You're seriously blowing up over a joke mug? No, I said. I'm blowing up over $72,000 in zero respect. She stopped talking. I tracked every penny, I told her. Every emergency. Every phone call that ended with me feeling guilty. She crossed her arms. We're family. You're supposed to help. I did help, I said. I helped you live comfortably while calling me uptight. I helped Mom pay off her debt while she called me paranoid. I helped Dad with his hobbies while he told people I was cold. She rolled her eyes. This is so dramatic. What, you're cutting us off now? Gonna punish us? I smiled. No, I said. I stopped asking why. And for once. I smiled while saying no. And man, that smile didn't leave my face the rest of the night. I started getting calls, 8 of them in under an hour, from Dylan. I didn't answer. I knew what was coming. At 5 p.m. that Sunday, Dad sent me a text. We need to talk. Only family. No excuses. I showed up. Not to explain. Not to apologize. I didn't even fake a smile. I walked in with no guilt, no regrets. And just like I figured, they were all there. Mom sat with her arms crossed like a teacher ready to scold a kid. Dad looked stiff, hands on his lap. Ashley's hair was a mess, clutching her phone like a lifeline. No car keys in sight. Dylan sat off to the side, quiet, eyes starting. Sit, Dad muttered. I stayed standing. Mom didn't waste time. You think this is funny? What you did to your sister, the humiliation. The danger. I raised an eyebrow. Danger? You mean making her pay for her own car? That kind of danger. Ashley jumped in, voice high and shaky. You had my car towed? Nope, I said. You had your car towed. I just stopped paying for it. Then I pulled a folder out of my bag, neat, color-coded, and very official. Set it down on the coffee table. $1.72. $850. That's how much I've given this family over 5 years. The room went quiet. I'm not asking anymore. I'm demanding repayment. Mom gave a laugh. Bitter and shaky. You can't be serious. I am, I said calmly. Dead serious. I opened the folder. Inside were bank statements, Zelle screenshots, transfer logs, everything highlighted and sorted. I broke it down by person. Mom, $23, $700. Ashley, $38, $600. Dad, $10, $550. I expect a payment plan. You've got 90 days. Dad stood, voice low and angry. You think you can treat your own family like debtors? No, I replied. I think you've been treating me like an ATM with a guilt complex. I'm just doing the math. Ashley rolled her eyes. So what? You're keeping score now? You said you did all this out of love. And you said you respected me. Then you gave me a mug that said, stop asking why, just pay and smile. I slid over another paper. Remember that emergency credit line I opened for the family? The one Mom said was just a formality? It's legally binding. So yes, I can sue. Still silence, until Dylan muttered something under his breath. Ashley turned on him. What? He looked between us, his voice shaking. I told you this would happen. I told you he'd fight back. You told him. Ashley shrieked. Are you kidding me? I trusted you. You said he'd never push back. That he was too soft. Ashley looked like she'd been slapped. Mom cut in, desperate now. You're overreacting. You're going to destroy this family. No, I said. I'm just closing my accounts. Then I pulled out a printed screenshot. A $1 transfer I'd made, with the note. I will never give you another dollar. I dropped it on the table. Frame it. Then I turned to leave. And if you think this is betrayal, then you never really understood what losing me actually means. Not one of them said a word as I walked out with my folder. No angry texts. No guilt calls. Ashley didn't even post some passive-aggressive meme. And for the first time in years, my phone was quiet. Not because they were ignoring me, but because I'd earned it. I was finally free. Of course, I wish I could say I never looked back. But 3 days later, standing in front of the oat milk section, wondering if I should switch brands to save a buck. Doubt crept in. What if I'd gone too far? And just like that, my phone buzzed. A message from Ashley. Ashley, just so you know, Mom's blood pressure went up from the stress you caused. That was it. The old game. Guilt. Blame. Emotional blackmail. But this time, I didn't flinch. I typed 2 words. Blocked. Minute. 2 days later, Mom showed up at my building. The front desk buzzed me. There's a woman here. Says she's your mom. Emergency. I didn't ask for details. I just said, tell her the sponsor's out of service. And hung up. Weirdest thing? That moment didn't make me sad. It made me feel good. I was sleeping better. Cooking without tension. Watching my finances without dread. It felt like I'd kicked ghosts out of my apartment. Then one night, a message from Dylan. Can we talk? I didn't know if it was bait. But I said okay. Told him to speak, not to ask for favors, just talk. We met at a coffee shop. He looked exhausted. I'm not here to defend Ashley, he said. Good, I replied. I don't want to hear it. I think I'm done too, he said. That made me pause. I watched her lie. Watched your parents let it happen. I kept waiting for them to step up. They never did. He looked away, then added, she's talking about suing you for emotional distress. I blinked. She doesn't think it'll work, he sighed. She just wants to punish you. I leaned back. And where do you stand? He looked me dead in the eye. I'm out. I'm done financing delusion. I've already spoken to a lawyer. Filing for separation. Should have said something sooner. You held everything together. I just kept my head above water. He handed me an envelope before we left. Inside? A check for $1,000. Memo. Toward what they owe you. It's not much, he said. But it's from me. Not them. Just wanted you to know. Someone saw you. That night, I opened my laptop. Pulled up the family debt spreadsheet. Next to Dylan's name, I wrote, paid $1,000. With sincerity. Then I renamed the file, closure in progress. I poured myself a glass of good wine, the kind I used to save for family vacations that always ended in stress. But this time, I drank to peace. To having no sponsors. Just freedom. 3 months went by. It's been 90 days since I dropped that folder on their table. No visits. No drama. The text died off by week 6. I heard Ashley was taking time to heal, which I figured meant finding a new sucker. I didn't care. Because I wasn't mad anymore. I was done. Not angry, done. Like closing a book. Like locking a door. I had a future. One that didn't include shame, begging, or emotional leeches with my last name. I moved to a new state. Took a better job. No ghosts in this place. I started boxing again, not to fight someone, just because I had my own schedule again. I even started dating. Someone peaceful. Someone who asked, what do you need today? Not, can you help? Just this once? For the first time in 10 years, life didn't just feel better. It felt real. Then, last Sunday, exactly 90 days later, I got a notification. Mom sent me $1. Memo. For the mug. Thought you'd want to frame it right. I stared at it for a full minute. Thought it was a joke. Then another ping, Dad sent $1 too. Memo. People say I owe you more. Then 30 minutes later, Ashley sent $2.50. No memo. No message. Just silence. It was petty. It was weird. Maybe a joke. Maybe mockery. But for the first time in weeks, I laughed. Laughed so hard I nearly spilled my coffee. Because for once, they were doing exactly what I'd asked them to do. They were paying me back. Not with kindness. Not with honesty. But with money. The tiniest, most grudging version of accountability. Maybe that's what scared them the most. Not the money. Not the silence. But the fact that I made them live with the consequences. And that's when I knew for sure. They weren't in charge anymore. I was.